was an emotional night for the Blue Jackets, and a valiant effort fell just short as they lost to the Florida Panthers. We're going to talk about what went wrong in that game, but mostly we're going to talk about Johnny Gaudreau and today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day, every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms, over on YouTube and on SiriusXM. I just want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Apologies for the radio silence for a little bit there. I was out of town and then I had some technical issues, but I'm back and we're going to talk about last night's game. I want to talk about the Johnny Gaudreau tribute, which I thought was genuinely beautiful and very moving. I want to talk about, the game, losing the game sucks, but I'm not surprised based on, again, the Johnny Gaudreau tribute, and I want to talk about some players that are exceeding expectations and some players that are not meeting expectations even a little bit. So lots to cover, so let's get into it. I want to start off with the Gaudreau tribute because that was the important thing. That was why everyone was there. Quite frankly, I don't think many people were there for a game against the Florida Panthers, but I think the Blue Jackets knocked it out of the park. I really do. They had a half-hour pre-game tribute, documentary almost. A bunch of players, past, present, talking about how much they love Johnny, how much they like to play with him off the what he was like off the ice, what he was like on the ice. Clips from old footage of the Gaudreau's family home, footage of him signing in Columbus. It was a really, really nice and well put together half hour of pre-game television. And then the actual tribute I thought was I cried, so I assume most people did, with the the Gaudreaus all being there. Obviously they raised a banner, the going out for the official puck drop with 4 skaters because Johnny Gaudreau should be on the left wing, I thought was maybe the most poignant part of the whole thing. Letting 13 seconds run off the clock. Sean Monahan knocked the puck, I believe, to another one of Johnny Gaudreau's old line mates, Sam Bennett, as well. So just a lot of layers of it really sucked to have to go through all of this, and I kind of talked about this a little bit on Twitter, is that we shouldn't have to be doing this. I should be out here yelling about the goaltending needing effort, or the fact that the line combinations don't work, or that the power play continues to be cursed. I should be yelling about all of these things, but instead we're here and we're looking at Johnny Gaudreau's banner. We're looking at all of them wearing the Gaudreau jerseys during warm-ups. Both teams as well, which I thought was a really nice note from the Panthers. All of the Panthers brought purple Gatorade and Skittles to the game, which I also loved. Just a lot of really, really nice touches, and I think that was the best possible way that they could have honored a player like Gaudreau. I hope everyone managed to kind of watch the pre-game tribute because I thought it was really nice, but I did want to share one bit from it that did make me laugh because I think that's what Johnny would have wanted. And right before the game started, they did have Meredith came up on the board, basically to say, thank you for all of the love and support that you've given our family. We don't want you to be sad tonight. John wouldn't have wanted you to be sad. We're going to have fun and we're going to enjoy the game. We're going to love the game the way that John loved it, which I thought was really great and something that I think a lot of people are going to really kind of take into their hearts this season. But a story that I hadn't heard before came up on the pre-game tribute, which I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit because it cracked me up. Apparently, what he used to do was wait for players to not pay attention during warm-ups, and then he would try and knock the puck off their stick with a pass, with another puck, which is something so little and also maybe the most annoying possible thing he could do during warm-ups, which is just so him, in a way that even his pranks are, they're just small, but they make everyone else laugh. And they're not malicious, they're just kind of annoying. And it felt like a really kind of Johnny Gaudreau moment, or a Johnny Gaudreau story, which I really, really loved. So I have I don't think anyone would. I have absolutely no criticisms for how the Blue Jackets handled that tribute last night. I think it was absolutely perfect. From the opening the doors early, from having the artist there who did that chalk drawing in the parking lot, to have her do one at the game that presumably will be displayed somewhere nationwide. They had the big Gaudreau memorial tribute that was, I think, previously outside. They brought it inside, and now it just lives there. The players both wearing jerseys on both sides. They raised, I think, over $250,000 for the John and Matthew Gaudreau Foundation, which is incredible. They had so many 50-50 purchases that actually I believe only announced the winner today because they had so much money come in that they had to wait to sort through it and hand out the winner. So just again, top to bottom, incredible. I genuinely don't know how anyone on either team, but especially on the Blue Jackets, played hockey after that. Because I would have wanted to go back into the locker room and just have hysterics for, several hours possibly. But they did. And here's the thing, and there's something we'll talk about kind of in more detail in a second, is the Blue Jackets were the better team last night. And it would have been so easy for them to be overcome with emotion, for them to be, too emotional, too grief-stricken, too sad, whatever you want to call it, and fall apart in the game. And I don't think no one would have criticized them for that. I mean, some people might have done, but we don't listen to those people. You absolutely 100% cannot fault the effort they put in, because once again, they outplayed the Florida Panthers. I know the Florida Panthers missing a couple of key guys, missing Sasha Barkov, missing Matthew Tkachuk, but it sucked that he couldn't be there last night. Obviously, he was one of Johnny Gaudreau's really close friends, but he's sick at the minute. He's stuck back in Florida. He sent a statement to the Blue Jackets and to the Gaudreau family, but even missing those two guys, I think the Blue Jackets outplayed the Panthers in a lot of ways. So that's what I want to talk about next. Is I kind of want to talk about is there anything that we can criticize from this game? And I think my answer is mostly no, but also kind of one thing, which I don't think anyone will be surprised by that. So we're going to do that in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about Game Time, because I love to go to last-minute sports events. I finish work, I am looking at the schedule, I'm like, hey, the Sharks are in town, because I'm in California right now. Game Time is the best way to do that, and it's not just for sports either. It's not just for hockey as well. They've got all of the sports. They've got music, they've got theatre, they've got comedy, and you can use their brand new feature, Game Time Picks, that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. We were just at the Sharks game on Thursday night, and Game Time is obviously the site that we used for that, because we just like it so much better than any of the other ticketing websites. I think the process is easier. I love that you can toggle on all-in pricing, so you don't get surprised with $20 fees at checkout, unlike some other again ticketing services that will remain nameless. I love that you can get a panoramic view from your seat before you buy. I love that Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in your section and row for less. And I love that Game Time has the most flexible customer service policy in the industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. I also have to talk to you about Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? Well, it is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you got to do is pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. They've got all kinds of different things that you could do. but the best one is just literally pick any player and decide whether he's going to win more or less than the price picks awarded stat, and you will win a bunch of money. If you do that twice, you can win up to 100 times your money. So join over 10 million users, sign up today, and they've got safe, fast, and secure withdrawal. So when my picks hit, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. I don't have to sit around waiting. So sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And they also offer weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, which means each Tuesday, Price Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Price Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Price Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, that is $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Price Picks, run your game. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. We talked about the Gaudreau tribute. We talked about what a great, a beautiful and moving moment it was. We do have to talk about the game, though, which the Blue Jackets unfortunately lost 4-3. But again, there is very, very little that I can fault in this game, quite frankly. There's some stuff I want to touch on later, but I want to talk about the important stuff first, which is the Blue Jackets played great. Again, it would have been so easy for this team to fall apart. And they had kind of a wobbly first period. They got outchanced 13-24 by Panthers, but went into that first period up 1-0. Took them a while to kind of get their legs under them, I thought, but they really came out rocking in the second period. Opened the scoring. Cole Sillinger on a shorthanded goal. The Cole Sillinger, Kent Johnson chemistry is just getting more and more each day. You love to see it. And that's kind of something I want to talk about in a minute, actually. But, you've got your Cole Sillinger goal. Sean Monahan scores, points directly up the banner. Again, another really moving, emotional moment. Panthers don't want to let the Blue Jackets have anything nice. It's 3-2 to go into the third period. They add a breakaway goal. Blue Jackets bring it back with a late goal, I believe, from James Van Riemsdyk to make it 4-3, but a last-minute push does not yield that fourth goal. Spencer Knight was really good in this game, so credit to him. But I wanted to talk about this felt different to last season, and I've had a couple of people kind of echo this, which is last season this game probably ends 6-2. I think this team folds like a damp paper towel in the third period last season, and they didn't this year. They fought back. They dominated in that third period again, in the underlying stats. They had 30 shot attempts to Florida's 9. That was kind of helped by some heavy power play time and penalty kill time. They had 2 minutes. Well, okay. In fairness, they only had 2 minutes of 5-on-4, but they had that goalie pull at the end as well. They played really good. They played really well in that third period. It's good for them. There was some 4-on-4 time. They did well during that. They just could not figure out a way to get past Spencer Knight. Shots ended 38-22 for the Blue Jackets. So again, Spencer Knight, 3 shots on 38 goals is excellent. Elvis, not so great, 4 goals on 22 shots, so only 18 saves on the night. We'll talk about goaltending in a minute. But something I wanted to talk about was the line combinations for the Blue Jackets. That line of Monahan, Chinakhov, Marchenko is really, really buzzing. They had 18 shot attempts for and 7 against at even strength. By far the most effective line. The fourth line was also good. They only played 5 minutes together, almost 6 minutes together. But again, they had 6 shot attempts for, 2 against. So the defensive makeup of this team, I think, is looking much, much better. They are consistently out attempting, and I say consistently because, we're 3 games into the regular season, but, like, all of the lines, bar one, which I want to talk about in a minute, are doing great. The one line that is struggling right now is the Van Riemsdyk Fantilli LeBanc line, which I'm not like super surprised by, but I am kind of frustrated / worried about it because I don't know what the answer is to that, because I like that Sillinger Johnson Pucci line a lot. And like my thought was, do you flip Fantilli and Monahan, but that and have Chinikov, Fantilli, Marchenko, and then put Monahan with Van Riemsdyk and LeBanc, have the veterans have like a veteran line together. Because I think Fantilli needs a little bit more support than he's getting right now with Van Riemsdyk and LeBanc. But that Monahan, Chinikov, Marchenko line was excellent last night, and they have looked really good. I believe that, again, small sample size. And let me pull up the Jeff Svoboda tweet, because I thought it was shocking and also interesting. Here we go. Per Money Park, Chinikov, Monahan, Marchenko leads the NHL in expected goals percentage at 83.9% among lines with at least 30 minutes played. They've outscored teams 4-0 through 3 games. Small sample size, but they're dominating the puck and scoring chances so far. So, great. Last night they had 82% of the expected goals while they were on the ice, a 12-3 edge on shots on goal at 5-on-5. They're doing basically everything that can be asked of them. I think that third line, again, is continuing to grow. They had kind of a rough go of things last night, but that shorthanded goal from Sillinger, from Johnson, was great. They need to build the offense, which I think will come in time. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens as players start to come back from injury, which injury is something I want to talk about in a minute, because the defense is defensing, and the injury curse is doing as well. But something else I want to talk about is moving Provorov to the right and putting it with Zach Werenski might be the thing that has turned his career around in Columbus, because I thought he was really, really weak last season. I thought he was very poor. Again, small sample size, but last night he was on the ice for all situations. He was on the ice for 29 shot attempts for and 19 against. Werenski was a monster last night, on the ice for 38 for and 19 against. That pairing was really, really good. The defense in general was good. I thought the weakest defenseman in terms of shot attempts was Jake Christensen. Oh, excuse me, it was Erik Gudbranson. But he didn't play very much. He got injured, which again we'll talk about in a minute. But for defensemen that played the full game, Jake Christensen was the weakest at 12 shot attempts for, 13 against. Gudbranson was near enough 50-50. He had 12 shot attempts for and 13 against. And most of those shot against came on, or shot attempt against, came on the penalty kill. So he had 7 shot attempts against for him on the penalty kill, which, fine, whatever. Would I like less? Sure. But the problem is that Gudbranson and Provorov are not a suitable penalty kill pairing. And I don't know why they keep running them together, but I don't believe the Blue Jackets allowed a power play goal last night. So, some things are working, some things are not, but it hasn't super bit them hard yet. I'm just pulling up the stat sheet from last night. The only non-even strength goal came from Cole Sillinger's shorthanded goal. So all 4 of the Panthers goals were scored at even strength. So the penalty kill was perfect. Power play also not great, which is something I think is not a worry, but is starting to maybe kind of, hey, we should be seeing more returns on the power play. And they had 4 minutes of power play last night, and they had 4 shot attempts on each. Only one of those shot attempts turned into a shot, though. So they had 8 shot attempts, only 1 shot in 2 power plays. So, again, not great, especially when you consider the Panthers had about 6 minutes of power play time, and they got 4 shot attempts. 4. They did allow that short-handed goal, which was their 1 shot attempt, which was their 1 shot against. But I want to see more from the power play. But even strength, I have basically nothing to criticize, except for the fact that I would like Adam Fantilli to get better line mates, but I don't know where those better line mates are going to come from, because you can't. I don't want to break up that top line of Monahan, Marchenko, Chinakhov. And I also don't think that he will fit on that third line, because I think Cole Sillinger's done a very good job at being that third line center. So, like, do you put Adam Fantilli on the wing? No. But I also don't want to move Cole Sillinger to the wing. So, like, again, do you flip Cole Sillinger and Fantilli, but then you're breaking up the Sillinger-Johnson pairing? And I think that's a really important pairing to keep together specifically, because that chemistry is really, really building and it's looking really fun. So, we'll continue to think about the Fantilli situation. Like, I'm not worried yet. He scored against the Avalanche. Like, he's doing okay. I think there is more. I think there is more ways to support him than the wingers that he currently has. I just don't know where you get better wingers at this point without breaking up the other lines. So we'll see how that goes. All in all, like I said, very little to criticize from this effort. Apart from one player, or one position, I guess. We shouldn't single out a specific player, even though he was the only player that played in that position that night. And then I want to talk about what the Gudbranson injury means as well. So we'll do all of that in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about FanDuel, because you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You don't have to do what I do when I'm playing fantasy hockey, which is have 17 different ESPN tabs open, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, who played well last night? Who's playing well right now? Like, who's already got a goal? All of that is on FanDuel.com. Exactly where you can place your bets. So you can work on your fantasy hockey team and also make a little bit of money while you're doing it. And here's the best bit. If you place your first $5 bet on FanDuel, they're going to give you $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, whether you win or lose. So you could put money on an Adam Fantilli hat trick next game. You could put money on a goalie goal, which happened last night, which you love to see it. Like, no, doesn't matter how unlikely, how heavy favorited or not favorited the bet is, put $5 on it and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets if that is your first bet with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com, check out all of the super cool things that you can do there. You can bet on literally anything you want. Once again, that is FanDuel.com. All right, we're gonna finish up here with I want to talk about the goaltending, because we have to talk about the goaltending. Because the Blue Jackets should have won that game, and the reason that they didn't is because they didn't get a save when they needed it. And, like, you know me, you know this show, you know I have been maybe the biggest defender of Elvis Merzlikins. He was not good enough last night. Not based on the basic stats, not based on the advanced stats. He allowed 4 goals on 22 shots. Like, that's not good enough, you know? In terms of high danger, I'm just pulling up his numbers for this game, if I can do that on Natural Stat Trick. Actually, I think I can do it on Money Park instead. But, like, he was fine in the game against Minnesota. Daniil Tarasov struggled against the Avalanche. It so happened that the Blue Jackets managed to take advantage of a goalie that was playing worse than him. So the goaltending has suffered. But I thought Elvis Merzlikins last night was really, really not very good at all. And they don't need him to be great. And again, this is the thing I've been talking about all season: is they don't need him to be great. They need him to be league average. You know. And he wasn't that last night. So far in 2 games, he has allowed 7 goals on 3.4 expected goals against. So he's allowed 3.5 goals more than we're expecting of him, which is not great. His expected goals against average is 1.81. So he should be allowing less than 2 goals a game. And instead he's allowing over 3.5 goals a game. I'm looking for his high danger save percentage. It's fine. But, like, again, if I pull up one more thing, which I know that, you know, it's tough to sit here and listen to someone talk about math, but he hasn't been good enough. The basic stats, you know, the goals against average, the save percentage, they do not look good. And the underlying stats also do not look good. I believe that last night he allowed 4 goals on approximately 2 point something expected goals. So like the Blue Jackets, he should only have allowed 2, maybe 3 goals last night. The Blue Jackets got 3 goals on just under 3 expected goals against. So again, Spencer Knight was good, but probably needed to be better if the goaltending for the Blue Jackets had held up. So where I'm going now is Micah McCurdy at Ineffective Math. He has these really fun little charts where you can see how many goals were scored versus what the expected goals were. And so the Blue Jackets allowed 4 goals on basically exactly 2 goals, 2 chances worth of goals. So Elvis should only have allowed 2 goals based on the shots that he was facing last night. The Blue Jackets should have won this game 3-2, and they didn't. And like again, emotional night for Elvis. I think he probably again was having a lot of feelings, having a lot of emotions. This is the second home opener that he's done where he's honoring a friend that has died. You know the Matisse Kivlenix tribute a couple of seasons ago. I believe he won that one, but again, it was an emotional time. This time, it wasn't to be. But if this continues, then we are going to start to get worried. And when I say we, I mean me. And I've been the biggest defender of Elvis basically since he got here. He needs to be better than he was last night. We'll see what he's like in the next game he plays. I expect it'll be Tarasov's start against Buffalo tomorrow night, which tomorrow morning we'll talk about that game. We'll talk about what we're expecting. Potential lineup changes, which we'll get into in just a second here. But like Elvis, man, you got to be better. You just do. Like that wasn't the Blue Jackets should have won this game, and they didn't, and it's because they couldn't get a save when they needed one. So it is what it is, and I feel like it's so rare that I say that hey they lost this game because of goaltending. So like we're gonna let it go, but they lost the game because of goaltending. They did. That's just why they lost the game. We're gonna finish up one last thing. Erik Gudbranson missed the about half of the second period and all of the third period, upper body injury. I suspect it is something shoulder or elbow related. He collided with Sean Monahan, went down hard on it. Looked like he landed on his elbow. Hopefully it's not like a broken elbow or a dislocated shoulder or anything that can happen with like an elbow, like jarring your elbow like that. But I believe after the game, Dean Everson said, doesn't look good. Here, upper body injury to Erik Gudbranson doesn't look good, but we'll have to wait and see. And sure, why not? This team has already had 2 long-term injuries. Why would they not have another one? This might be good news for David Jiricek, who might get into the lineup. I guess we'll have to see what the lines look like. But I thought Jordan Harris did very well in his CBJ debut. Again, like I don't know that playing him with Gudbranson is like the best option necessarily. But he was obviously losing Gudbranson meant that the lines got a little bit skewy, the lines got a little bit janky, and he managed to finish the game at all situations. 13 shot attempts for, 10 against, played 12:43 of ice time, which is somehow still less than Gudbranson, despite the fact that Gudbranson missed a bunch of times. So I suspect what happened is he mostly got benched in the third period, which I don't love necessarily. I can find this information out actually with the handy shift chart. So Jordan Harris got 4 shifts in the third period after Gudbranson went down. Actually, after Gudbranson went down, he only got 4 shifts. So they basically rolled 4 defensemen, which I don't think is fair because I thought Jordan Harris was really quite good in his debut. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Like, I personally would put Jiricek in. I genuinely wouldn't be shocked if they put Jack Johnson in instead. I will have to fight someone about it because why? But we'll have to wait and see. Blue Jackets aren't skating today, so we won't know anything until morning skate tomorrow, probably. But we'll see. I know what I would do. we'll see what Dean Everson would do, but I think I might have to be mad at it. That's all I've got for today. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to talk about the upcoming game against the Sabres. Blue Jackets had a very good game against the Sabres in the preseason and a not very good game against the Sabres in the preseason. So we'll see what happens when it's NHL squad versus NHL squad, which it wasn't for either of the preseason games. Hopefully we'll get an update on Gudbranson. And we'll talk about some more predictions because I haven't really managed to do many predictions and I like to do them. So that's all coming up on tomorrow's show. Thank you for listening to this show, for making it your first listen of the day every single day. We're Locked on Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We are over on YouTube and on SiriusXM. I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the show at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you once again for listening, and until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.